You're listening to a Weirdo exclusive. Weirdo exclusive. Weirdo exclusive. Weirdo exclusive. Weirdo exclusive.
No, it's a brand new season. I don't got nothing to lose. I be up late to the morning, wondering what else to do. Lately I've been off my socials, don't really care for the views. I had to reset my settings. Had to get up and go get it, yeah. Had to get up and go, wait. Had to get up and go get it, damn. Had to get up and go, had to get up and go get it, yeah. No, it's a brand new season, I don't got nothing to lose. I be up late to the morning, wondering what else to do. Don't really care, I know he said, she said, that shit not making you money.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, everybody. It is your boy BK, and welcome to Trending Waters. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, we all welcome you to Trending Waters, where life gets deeper than the ocean. So, me, your boy, BK, and hopefully, we become fam and everything like that. But right now, we're in the introduction phase, and we're figuring it out. So, Trending Waters. It's about what life could have been, what life should be, and how we're holding up with the tides and the waves. So it's going to be real stories, and it's going to be real healing. So I just want to say, let's dive in. So originally, why I wanted to start the show was because growing up, I grew up in Philadelphia. For those who want a little bit of surface level background. So I always said that my life was always deeper than the ocean because, telling my story about where I grew up, how I grew up, and the challenges that I had to overcome will ultimately help, people around the world, whether or not if it's one kid, two kids, an adult, or anything like that. I want to be, I just want to be able to tell my story and also have a platform where people can come on and tell their story as well. So that's basically, the logistics behind Trending Waters. So what you can really expect from the podcast is me, normally 100% of the time, and some occasional guests. Have some things in the works where I want to bring people onto the platform so that way they get their representation of their life. My biggest thing is always saying that, your life is specific to you and you alone. No one exactly went through the same exact trials and tribulations that you went through. So it's just one of those things where you can come on, speak your truth, tell the story how you want to tell it, and have people have a better understanding of you, better understanding of your pain or the things that you went through. And that way we can help others go through, or not go through, but to help them overcome challenges that they may be coming across, that they may be challenging right now, or just things of that nature. So yes, I am very, very excited for this podcast. I have been prolonging it for some time now, so thank you for everybody that's being so patient and has been patient with me. But this is BK, and let's dive into one of the segments. So introducing myself. Again, my name is BK. Most people call me Ike, my childhood name and everything like that. So, yeah. One of the biggest times that I've realized in my life was when I like to call this segment a little Judgment Day. So Judgment Day for me was there was a specific time in my life where me, my brother, my mom, my dad recently passed away back in 2003. I should know this, so I shouldn't be quoting I shouldn't be quoting anything. But my father passed away And one of the big things that happened in between that was a lot of chaos, a lot of things that we're gonna dive into. Basically, mom was never home. Brother was supposedly the man of the house at that time, but he was just as confused as I was trying to learn, this new meaning of life, how to overcome challenges. There's a lot of hindsight. There's a lot of like nitty gritty stuff I have known now, but the stories are going to have to progress in the manner so that way you kind of understand the story from its origins. And that way you can understand my origins, these different sagas that I went through, growing up in the system, having my mom leave me in DHS and all sorts of other things that, can really cause a lot of trauma for a child or anyone in that nature, especially, growing up. So yeah. So with that being said, I am kind of nervous because a lot of people, I've said my story to people 1,000 times, but to sit here and actually, be able to speak is something super, super special. And I'm excited. Whew, that was long-winded as crap. Oh man, we're gonna try to keep this as authentic as possible. So if you hear me giggling or laughing or anything like that, just don't pay attention to anything like that. That's my personality, just reaching out to you. For the most half, we're gonna actually start doing little integrations where we do videos and probably go out to like different areas and stuff like that. Just host little interviews and stuff like that, little segments, just so, that way people can ride the wave, be able to see deeper within themselves. So there was a big moment in my life. I know I needed to speak up. Again, it was Judgment Day and my mom told me that I had to get ready for court. And one of the things about me, I was like, yo, I'm not going to court, okay? I don't want to be there. I don't want to go there. I don't want nothing to do with nothing. I just want to play my video games. I believe I just graduated elementary school, so 6th grade into the challenging 7th and 8th grade middle school and everything like that. And one of the biggest things that ended up happening was for a long time when I was in the system, for those who were, but again, enlightenment for those who haven't been in the system, you really don't get a voice until you're a certain age. So a lot of times that we were in the courtroom O, shout out to courtroom O in Philly, 1801 Vine Street. But you don't really get a voice. You sit there and the adults are talking and you have a lawyer, you have well, not necessarily a lawyer, but you have a representation, someone that's representing you. And this one specific day, I feel like it snapped for me. I was sitting and I was like, Mom, she was like, oh, let's go to court. And I was like, okay, let's go to court. Let's figure out what's going to happen and everything like that. Hindsight only. Because, again, when I was a kid, I was just like, okay, we're going to go to court. So we get to 1801 Vine Street, and that's when it hit me. I was waiting in the courtroom. And the judge was like, well, do you have anything to say? And for that brief moment, I looked at him. Because, again, you had to be a certain age. And at this time, I believe I was, 13? Yeah, I was like 13. So I think kids under 12 weren't allowed to really speak. Because, again, well, unless it's like a serious manner. But for some reason, I wasn't allowed to talk until I was like older than 12. Don't know why. They were probably changed the rules from way back when. Again, I was born in 93. So, you do the math. So I ended up not saying anything. I sat and the judge asked me, did I have anything to say? I looked at this folder that the guy who was representing me and everything like that. And it had all the dates of every court date that I've ever been to. And as the judge is talking to me, because at this point I'm incoherent, I'm not even listening to the judge. I've realized that it was so many opportunities that I had that I wanted to speak up where my voice was literally taken away from me at that time because I was told not to speak. Taking that into my adulthood, one thing that, speaking up has helped is that although you are sad and upset, two things can be right at the same time. A lot of people are not as much judgmental, but more so afraid of being direct and being transparent and being honest because there sometimes may be consequences. There may be things that they're afraid to lose. They may lose out on a wonderful friendship. But again, it's all about how you persevere and stuff like that. So you just got to understand that you just can't judge yourself for standing up for yourself. Do not judge yourself for standing up for yourself. That's a big key takeaway from that moment. And the silence of me not speaking up for myself and speaking up for my mom, speaking up for my family and all the other things that I could have said at that moment when the judge was speaking to me, which ultimately led for my mom to lose full custody of me and me to get put into the system, which is, again, the placement saga, emergency placement. I went to Kirkbride in West Philly, and I was in Kirkbride for 2 years and a week, but we're going to go over a little bit of some more like overview of a lot of things. There's a lot of different chapters in my life. There's a lot about learning. There's a lot of survival. There's a lot of discipline that I had to learn. There's a lot of like love that I've had. There's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of things that I've done, and then trust issues that I've acquired over the years. And one of the biggest things that I want to bring to attention was me living in my father's shadow, but that's going to be for the next episode. And it's just like a little snippet for the next episode. It's going to be my father's shadow on how I overcame not just being Ike. That was my nickname for those. Like, I was Little Ike. My dad was Big Ike, and I was Little Ike. But I'm gonna cut it off there. Just cut it off there. So we just want to do a simple check-in, simple breathing technique that I've learned is that you breathe in for 4 seconds, then you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you repeat it. So you kind of breathe in, hold it for 4 seconds, and then you exhale, and you hold that for 4 seconds. And you repeat this 5 times, and it's kind of a breathing technique that has gotten me to calm down in certain situations and certain kind of like atmospheres, especially when it's chaotic. My anxiety is high. I'm losing my brain and, all sorts of things like that. So, and for this other segment is called Message in a Bottle. So it's kind of like one thing for the week to take into consideration with your due diligence and your jobs and your life and your kids and whatever you're going through is that I deserve to bloom even if no one waters me. It is basically saying that no matter what the cost, it doesn't take anybody else to make sure that your plant is well fed. Sometimes if people aren't feeding you the stuff that you need, you still deserve to grow. You still deserve to bloom. So that way, you could just become a better person. This is what this podcast is all about. The podcast is just basically sharing my life stories, going through it, and diving a little bit deeper. So that way, get the emotions out, get the feeling. I've been really keen on filling my time with positivity, understanding more platonic relationships with girls, and overall just being well-rounded in the ability, or sometimes the inability, but it's mostly the ability to be able to speak, to be able to talk, to be able to hold a conversation, to be able to understand that somebody's life is different. And that's one of the things that I've always had to go by, was because literally, although I do have a big family, we all are in our different zones, our different times where some family members weren't able to help. And you can't blame them for not helping. You can't blame them for not being there. Some family members were, actively trying to help. But again, life did its course. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that I was the best kid. I wasn't the smartest or the most neat or anything like that. So I don't want to, downplay my flaws that I've had when I was growing up as a kid. But again, a lot plays into it. So again, this was just a quick intro to the podcast, a quick little snippet, a quick little episode just for you guys to understand what the podcast is all about, and to put this out for the world to hear. It's especially, my dream is for me to be on headlines, not even headlines, but just reaching as many people, regardless of race, religion, gender, or anything like that. I want to reach, if I can just reach one person and brighten up their day. So, again, this is your boy, BK, and this was the first episode of Trending Orders. And if this was a hit, and you liked it, go ahead and share this with your friends, your family, people that you think might be interested in listening to someone break down their stories, break down their mental health challenges, and break down other things of that nature. So, again, next week's episode is going to be My Father's Shadow, and this is your boy, BK, and I am signing out. Again, this is your boy, BK, and welcome to Trending Waters, where life gets deeper than the ocean. I'll see you soon.
I put my heart in your hands. Where did you put that? I cannot do this again. I'm scared to put out my hands. I put my heart in your hands. Now where did you put that? I cannot do this again. We all know how that went.
Hold on, you wanted lyrics so lyrical, call my lyrics a miracle, flip it, color reciprocal. I spit at every interval, eat my words like it's edible. Word on that man incredible, killing beats like it's federal. I rock like I'm a pebble. How the f*** you replace my shit? I took yours, held it down, and you ain't even claim my shit. Tell your friends you hear my music, you say this my shit. Now you hear this, you can tell them, yo, this my shit. This about you, don't escape it. This is my way of a payment. We don't talk no more, but you be talking about me till my haters save it. You can talk the
Make sure you guys go follow me at BK Star on Instagram. And again, please go subscribe to Trending Waters. I appreciate you all, and thank you for the very first episode.